Tell us about your experience with Vimala Thakar.
Oh yeah, a woman called Vimala Thakar. Now, Pam, Terry's wife, the school teacher's wife, who I live with in Byron on their farm, she showed me this book called Vimala Thakar, who met Krishnamurti, and he cured her with his hands. And she'd gone to all the specialists in the world, and they tried to fix her ears, and no one could fix her. And they'd made this religion around her, like they did Krishnamurti. In the book that I read, he said that he kept on suggesting to her, maybe I could help. And she kept on saying in a book, what can an old man do to help me, you know? Because they told her, go and talk to this man, he's brilliant, you know, have one-on-ones with him. So she did, you know, for religion learnings. And he'd sit there and he'd talk to her, and she said he was totally not what he expected, you know. He'd be more into questions than answers to her, and made her really sit back and look at herself and think about things. But he kept on suggesting that he might be able to help her with her ears. He said, I'm not suggesting. That's right, he kept saying, I'm not suggesting, but I think I might be able to help you. And in the end, she said, I give up. I said, oh, well, what harm could it do? So she said he went round and he touched both her ears with his hands, stood behind her. She said she felt this tremendous light and energy go through her, and she felt profoundly at peace. And she said when he took his hands away, the feeling eventually dissipated and went. And he said, now put an ice pack on your ear for 3 weeks, for an hour for the next 3 weeks, a couple of times a day. And he said, we'll see how you go. And she come back in 3 weeks' time. She said, you cured me. My ear's fine. There's nothing wrong with it now. And I've been to every specialist in the world. How could you do that? She said, you're like Jesus was. And he said, and look what they did to Jesus. He said, everybody can attain this energy for themselves. It's not my energy. It's an energy of the gift of my understanding of nature and life and my non-violence that has given me this energy, this gift. He said each and every person can go through the same thing and same understanding and attain this energy. So, you know, she was really surprised by that, because he said, I don't want to go around saving people, you know, that's what, you know, look what they did to Jesus when he did. He said, you know, and you can't save everybody and everything. You just have to teach people to teach themselves. That's what he was more into. He didn't want people to say, oh, you're God, or you're this, or you're that. He said he wasn't. He just received this energy. It was given to him, you know, because of what he understood, you know, and this energy just come to him. So when you try and attain the energy, it won't come. It has to come through your understanding of yourself. There's no shortcut. So that's what he taught her, and I met her in Ballina. It was a 2-week meditation course. And I talked to her, I had personal contact with her. I asked for personal contact with her, and I talked to her about Krishnamurti, and she said it was wonderful that I'd grown up knowing him and reading him, and she said he was a very, very special man. And apparently they say only a mind like his comes around every 500 years or so, like Buddha or someone like that. So he was more, you know, but you had to sit there and listen and understand what he was saying, or you could disagree or completely miss it, you know, go over your head. So going and seeing her and talking to her and sitting through her meditations and listening to her was pretty special. It was at Ballina, and it was only about, I lived at Lennox Head and I could hitchhike to Ballina, and it's about a 10-minute hitchhike. So I stayed there for 2 weeks. They let me out once to go and play soccer on a Saturday. I had a soccer game. But otherwise I stayed there for 2 weeks, and the food was incredible. They made this incredible food, They made this incredible food, and everything was just all organic, vegetarian, and so filling, and everybody was clever at what they did, all these hippies, and you know, they'd come to see this woman with her teaching people how to meditate and how to be quiet and how to be still, you know, and it was a 2-week course, and it was pretty exciting. It was the closest I ever got to Krishnamurti. No, I told her that I thought I'd reached enlightenment because I could look people in the eyes and smile at them, and I had no fear, and I didn't know what it was. And I just felt profoundly at peace, and I'd meditated on this LSD, like I'd read Krishnamurti and meditated through watching and looking at myself, and all of a sudden I had this huge rush of seeing myself, looking down, and all these people were turning around looking at me, and it was me getting younger and younger and younger till it went bang, and it was like being born again. I could hear this boom, boom, boom. It was like my heart beating, and it was like and then I walked around and I was in bliss, and I had no fear. And I said to her, was that enlightenment? She said, yeah, you had a glimpse of it. She said, but it was seeing that you were on LSD at the time, you weren't going to stay there. She said, it's too bad you didn't do it on your own. You'd be still there now. You know, so. But I said to her, so I did have a glimpse. And she said, yes, you had a glimpse for sure. You seen it. Because I explained to her what it was, and she knew. It's me, Johnny. I'm home.